Hey Taurus, welcome to Tarot and Heal. Welcome to the place where we tarot and heal our way to self-love and unity consciousness. I hope all is well. Happy New Year. All that good stuff. Alright, let's get started. Come to you, humbly God, thanking you for your divine guidance, providing messages of divine light, divine love, in accordance with your divine will. What is it that the Taurus Collective needs to know? Thank you. What do they need to know for January? What is the overall theme? Overall theme. What do we have here? Oh, we have take risk, soul work, and sacred sexuality. Okay, Taurus, that's what I'm talking about. Hey. All right. So you have take risk coming out. Sacred sexuality and soul work. All right, looking like some shadow work needs to be done here. Shifts in perspectives need to be had. Looking at the life that you already created, that you're already experiencing, and seeing it from a different vantage point. Does this mean that you need to be more optimistic? Does this mean that you need to be a bit more vulnerable and loving? So let's figure it out. What's going on? Does this mean that you need to have more faith? Okay. It seems like you guys are going to be guided to take a leap of faith. Okay. Take a risk. Take a chance. If this is taking a chance with your heart or taking a chance with a business idea, do it. Try it. Okay. Take the leap. Know that the divine has got you. Okay. The divine will be your safety net. Being a sacred sexuality is here. Why is sacred sexuality here? Why is sacred sexuality here? I feel like this is more of taking a leap of faith and love. We have make a plan. I don't know if some of you guys are into you know, sex magic, sexual transmutations, whatever the case is. But if you are, then it's time to start doing it. I mean, if you are into it and haven't tried it, then maybe try it, okay? Forgive and forget. All right. There's a need to be a bit more open, vulnerable, and loving. I do feel that, and it's going to stem from the need to heal your wounds, okay? The shadow energy is coming out now. It's the shadow, it's the pain, bitterness, resentment. It could have been from your past, whatever, childhood wounds, whatever the case is, all right? But it's causing you to be a little bit too reserved when it comes to love, okay? Some of you guys too reserved when it comes to expressing your sexuality, your sensuality. Taurus is very sensual. Okay, so you guys, some of you guys might not be really expressing that side of you or showing that to other people. It's stemming from heartbreak, resentment, but there seems to be an opportunity that's going to come through that's going to push you into doing something differently, being more open than usual, okay? So that's exciting. You might be led to, you know, behave in the same way. Like if you're used to keeping someone at arm's length, that might be your natural inclination when you meet this person, okay? Try to be mindful of that. I feel like that's going to come to the forefront, especially if you're watching this reading. It's probably going to become, you're probably going to become more aware of it. Wow, whoa. Two of Cups coming out here. Okay. All right, so yeah, there's a lot of resentment, like the Two of Cups. See, love triggers, right? So it seems like somebody's going to come in and it's going to trigger all your like fears of like, okay, the last time I felt love like this. This reminds me of a time where I fell in love and it didn't work out well, okay? There's some type of deception or whatever that happened in the past that caused heartbreak and caused a wound. Somebody's going to come through and trigger that, because it's time for you to let that go. The divine is saying it's different this time, all right? Okay. Let's go. What's going on? For some of you, the resentment had turned into like some type of sexual hang-ups. Like that heartbreak or whatever the case is, whatever it was in the past, whatever that wound is, it trickled over into your sex life. If you don't realize that, if that hasn't come to the forefront, this person is going to highlight that. Like maybe you'll have a sexual experience with this person and then you're going to realize what you were missing sexually in the past, okay? They might open you up in a way that you have never been opened up before, or they might open you up in a way that you haven't experienced in a really long time, okay? This Two of Cups energy is someone who's aligned, is someone who's a match, all right? Now, I don't know if this is going to be a love thing or if this is just someone who's just going to rock your world sexually and trigger a spiritual upgrade, because that's some type of sex right there. Let's see what's going on. Either way, you're probably not realizing your modus operandi was being in struggle mode, all right? You didn't realize that you were working and operating from a wounded standpoint. Yeah, with the Knight of Wands and the Queen of Wands coming out here, that Knight of Wands is struggle mode. The Queen of Wands in reverse, it's like not feeling, it's the bitterness, the resentment, okay? It's time to let that energy go. It's time to do some soul work and learn how to actually forgive and let go, all right? Don't look at it like, oh, just because this one person did this to me, I'm going to swear off love, you know? I think I talked about this in, yeah, it was a couple readings ago for Taurus. I think I gave the metaphor of like, you have a house party and everybody's having a good time and behaving, but there's this one like bad egg who comes in and they break your vase. And now you're like, you know what? Everybody get out of my house and I'm never having a party ever again. You know, it's like, don't be so extreme. It seems like you guys were you've been operating under that energy because of this one person. So it's like you swore off a lot of people. And you might have the inclination to do this when this person comes through. For some of you guys, this person already came through, and this is just confirmation. Some people, they're going to come through later on, all right? It's time to put the past behind you, put in the work, because you have to hold yourself accountable for how you show up in love, okay? You can't keep blaming other people for, if this turns someone into this resentful, bitter person who's pushing away love, you can no longer blame the past experience for that. You have to blame yourself for how you're choosing to handle this pain. Okay, some people get heartbroken and they're like, you know what? I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to pick up the pieces. I'm going to learn my lesson. I'm going to gain the wisdom and move forward. Some people decide, okay, well, fuck everybody, you know, and go into a more negative mindset, all right, or a less productive mindset. Who are you becoming, and who have you become based on your pain and the wounds? Did you carry it as a badge of honor? Did you get into victim mentality? Okay, did you go around, are you walking around paranoid, like waiting for somebody to fuck you over? Or did you get into a mentality where it's just like, well, I'm going to fuck you over before you fuck me over. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to just keep cheating because I don't want to ever get too committed. You know, things like that. All right, that's that Queen of Wands is bitter energy, okay? That's how things like that can manifest. It's time to move on from this pain, the source of this pain, all right? It is causing a blockage. We do have the masculine energy coming out with the mountain, all right? The mountain being a barrier here. There's a masculine energy. This could be a man or a woman, or whatever. It doesn't matter who this is. It's someone who's carrying masculine energy, and they're becoming a barrier. It's pretty much time. They're the reason why someone can't get out of this resentful energy. But now it's like you have to realize, like, they're not the blockage. I'm being the blockage now because I'm allowing them to continue to have this, to live in my head rent free, okay? It's time to move on from that hurt. It's a slow moving process, slow moving ship. It's a slow process, slow journey to healing. It does seem like there's a need to go into the underworld of your mind, of your spirit. It's time to do some shadow work. What has this pain made you become? There's a need to take an honest assessment of that. Obviously, it comes out of hurt, right? But then it might have created a behavior of, you know, when they say hurt people. Have you been out here hurting others because you were hurt unconsciously, okay? It's time to really take an honest assessment of that, all right? It's a slow process. Be compassionate with yourself. We have the Page of Cups here. It's time to open up your heart. All right. See, it's just going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy if you don't do this work. It's like someone had a story, a narrative that they were telling themselves that was based on a heartbreak, right? It caused them to move in the world in a way that was not aligned with them, not aligned with their true soul purpose or their true soul tribe. Because of that, they were just meeting people that kept on feeding this narrative because they kept believing it, they kept attracting it, and it became a self-fulfilling prophecy over and over again. And then someone's wondering, why am I not getting the love that I want? What are you doing? Some of you guys, this could be you or someone who you're attached to, but someone might have been in a cycle of sabotaging love, creating weird situations for themselves. That's 9 of Pentacles here. There's this thing about being alone. I'm hearing this song, I'm so sick of being lonely. Listen. So we have intuitive guidance leading you to your upgrade, okay? You're going to get intuitive guidance into the underworld, into your shadow self, the part of you that's hidden, the behaviors, the things that you've been doing to probably sabotage situations, or the mindsets that you might have been having that attracted certain situations that you didn't like. Also, I feel like that's stemming from some of you guys. Yeah, all right. So some of you guys, you caused the sabotage situation and you're like, okay, I'm tired of being lonely, and not realizing that you were creating that, or you were pushing people away and you were making yourself lonely, okay? You're going to get intuitive guidance about that. You're going to have like this aha moment that's going to let you know, like, oh, that's what I was doing. Yeah, all right. That's why I didn't get my wish fulfillment. I'm looking around at people finding love left and right. Where's my love? Yeah, you have to change your mindset. You have to begin the healing process, all right? It was like you might have been in a cycle where everything was like kind of misaligned when it came to love. You're attracting people that just weren't really lining up with you or syncing up with you, all right? And it really has to do with an internal balance that needs to be restored. So there's some soul searching to be done when it comes to love, all right? I would suggest probably make this a journal prompt, okay? What are my ideas of love? What are my experiences about love? That's one thing. So you can start finding the patterns. Start there with the obvious, okay? Everyone has a pattern that they run into when it comes to love, when it comes to the mates, okay? And how people respond to them and how you respond to others. What is that pattern? Okay, start there. That's going to show you where the wounding, somewhere around there, you're going to find where the wound is, all right? Allow your intuition to be your guide. If you want to do automatic writing, allow for that to happen, all right? There's a story here. There's a story here that you're telling yourself, a narrative that you have about love, all right? Let's say like every time I meet someone, they act like this and that, okay? Then that's a wound. That's something that you have to work on within yourself. It's something it's an internal thing that needs to be shifted, okay? A little bit. Wow, look at this. Forward movement. Whoa. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, baby. We have the Magician card at the bottom of the deck. We have this Wheel of Fortune and a Chariot card. Okay, so everything that I'm saying with the soul searching, with the journaling and all that, that is just going to flow like water after that. All right? It's like you have to, your heart is going to get cracked open. And it could be by intuitive guidance. It could be by a person. It could just be by like one happenstance, whatever the case is. It'll be different for everyone how your heart gets cracked open. When it cracks open, it's going to just flow like water here. With the Wheel of Fortune, this is a major upgrade and a Chariot card moving forward. Having a better understanding of what went wrong, okay? What was skewed in your perspective that needs to be tweaked. Once you do that, you're no longer feeling trapped in this loop of finding the same types of people or having the same types of experiences or the same type of disappointments. We all have this habit. We all have a pattern, okay? So just do a little bit of soul searching. You'll find the pattern within yourself, and then you'll be able to detect the mindset that comes from. And then you'll be able to make the change, okay? With the Nine of Swords, you will no longer have to think about it. Like, what am I doing wrong? And getting all frantic about it. You'll really have a clearer understanding. This is just coming from a level of self-awareness. Self-reflection leading to self-awareness, leading to forgiveness, because now you realize the part that you played in this. That is a soul work. All right. Then there's a need for you to make the plan of how you want to move forward, how you want to show up in love. What narrative do you want to believe now? Because whatever it is that you believe, that's what you're going to attract. Once you realize that, make a plan how you want to show up. Start doing affirmations that can combat the old way of thinking. For example, if you if the narrative that you've been telling yourself is all people cheat, so I'm just going to cheat first, then have an affirmation of I'm lovable, I'm faithful, I attract faithful people, things like that. Just keep it simple, keep it basic, but something that's very simple and easily identifiable, okay? I attract faithful energy. I attract a faithful spouse, I attract a monogamous relationship, things like that. Find an affirmation that can combat whatever that thought process is that's coming from the bitter energy. You're gonna have there's a bitter affirmation that's already playing in the background. Now you have to come up with a high vibe affirmation to combat that, so that can just start fading out eventually. All right? Magician mode, all right? That's the magician mode. The affirmations, the taking action, taking that soul work, getting to the root of the problem and then changing it at its core. Getting to the root of the problem within you and then changing that thing. All right? That's good. All right, what are they failing to see? Everything's going to flow after that. What are they failing to see? Yeah, see, that's what I feel like. I feel like subconsciously you're not realizing how much this deception has hurt you. It's like someone doesn't realize that they're moving in a bitter way. It's like when I had a talk with someone. It was like a random person, and they were saying how they got hurt because somebody, let's say they took money from their baby father, right? Or whatever. I don't know. They took money from somebody, a friend, to get their nails done. And this guy, they broke up over it. And this guy was like, well, now I can't, I want to go and ask girls if they would ever do that to me. Anytime I date, now I want to ask them. I'm like, well, you can't do that because that's just going to come off like someone being super bitter. Like, if somebody comes to you on the first date and say, all right, so boom, I got this example for you. What if you dating me, right? And then someone wants to give you money. Are you going to take that $300 or no? You can't ask someone something that specific. It's going to come off as someone who's very wounded, right? So somebody's moving like this. And they're not realizing, what the? Whew. They're not realizing, they're not realizing that they're coming off wounded, okay? Or they're doing something, even if, yeah, they're coming off wounded, okay? Whether it's coming off like they're being very strong, they're just not coming off like emotionally balanced and open to love. There's a need for more vulnerability here, bottom line, okay? However that's showing up. Whether you're over loving, okay, and pushing someone away, or you're not giving enough love and you're pushing someone away in that way. Whatever the case is, someone's not realizing how wounded they are. Yeah, and that's stopping the flow. That is the key to opening up the doors to major alignment within love. This is beautiful. Aww. The healing. Time to stop and heal. See, because this is like unknown, someone doesn't see how much they were wounded. They might have been out here saying like, okay, blaming it on other people. Like, oh, this person just don't, I don't know. They just don't get it, you know, and this is why. Or, I don't know, coming up with whatever dumbass reason. You know, when in actuality is that someone is unknowingly doing something to sabotage a situation. All right. Advice. Advice is, look at that, the flow. 8 of Wands. Listen, somehow there's going to be a divinely guided moment where you're going to have to face this. You're going to have this aha moment. Follow that. Do not stifle it. Do not ignore it. It's not like, don't look at it like, oh, that's stupid. That's not really what's happening. I'm the shit and I don't have any vulnerabilities and it's everybody else that's wrong and it's not me. No, you're going to have a moment where you're going to realize what you're doing wrong. Accept that. Journal, okay? Really reflect. Do some soul work. I don't feel like it's, I don't really feel like you got to go that deep, to be honest. I mean, if you're listening to this reading, then you probably already know what the situation is. It's probably going to click. If anything, because Taurus is Taurus and I love you guys, but you know, if anything, it's going to be like a little bit of a stubborn energy, but I don't feel like you have to go that deep to figure out what it is that you have to let go of and forgive. Either forgive yourself or forgive someone else for it. Either way, it's a major flow. However this happens for you, there's like, with these 3 cards of flow, okay, moving forward, you're gonna get pushed forward. All right, so whether it's probably gonna come through as an inkling, like just an intuitive hit, okay, but then it could come through as someone coming into your life and rocking your world where you can't ignore it. All right, either way, this is gonna affect your sex life in a beautiful way. It's gonna have you, yeah, it's just gonna improve your sex life. You'll have more fulfilling sexual experiences because of it. I feel like the lack of vulnerability, it was leading to probably not so I'm not saying you guys weren't enjoying sex, but it was certain things that just you weren't being completely satisfied. So that's the next stage. After this healing, if you want some motivation to do this soul work and begin this healing, okay? Good sex, great sex, transcendental sex is on the other side of this. This is why it needs to happen. Also, calling your soulmate. The flow, as I mentioned, all is push forward. This is a universal push. This is a universal push here, okay? You're being pushed into this, calling in your soulmate. You're gonna flow right into that. This is like I feel like this is just a little, it's like a splinter. You just gotta pull it out, toss it out, and then you'll be able to walk fine. You pull it out your foot, now you're walking like, oh, okay. All this time he's walking with a splinter in your foot. You didn't know, okay? You were just wondering why your foot was hurting all this time. Now the spirit is telling you like, hey, just pull that splinter out. You pull it out, now you're walking, everything is flowing. You're gonna flow into this love. Now, when it happens, understand that you deserve love. As I mentioned, when this happens, you're gonna get triggered into your shadow energy. Understand that it's stemming from this. All right, it's stemming from this pain the pain of and lack of vulnerability. All right, and it's probably this idea of not feeling like you deserve it, so you're sabotaging, whatever the case is. All right, it's just time to clear that energy out, and I feel like it's gonna be a quick fix. You guys are gonna work through it. Earth energy, I know y'all guys can do it. All right, but you're moving right into a soulmate here. All right, so that's beautiful. All right, but yeah, take a risk, trust in the divine plan. If somebody comes in and they kind of rock your world a little bit, just know that that's the moment. Pull out your journal, go buy a journal, and write that shit down. Get to reflecting on your soul. Get to the soul work. What do you need to forgive? If you find yourself responding to them in a certain way, ask yourself, have I done this before to other people? Okay, well then there's your pattern. And you got to realize once and for all, hey, it's not them, it's probably me. All right, Taurus, I love you guys. Thank you so much. Let me know what you think. Feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, add me on IG. That's Tara and Hill. If you want a personal reading, check out the info box below. If you want to be an angel donor, check out the info box below. Thank you so much, and until we meet again, peace.